Hey, how's it going? So today I'm coming to you with day number 28 inside of a 30-day video challenge. And the thing that I want to talk about today is I want to talk about a lead generation framework for your coaching and or for your consulting business. If you happen to be catching this video live, do me a favor and just hit pound live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you happen to be catching this via the replay, do me a favor and hit pound replay and let me know where you are tuning in from. All right, so lead generation framework for both your coaching and or your consultant business. I want to kind of just go back and think about from a lead generation standpoint, what are leads? Leads are people who have expressed interest in what it is that you are offering. And these are people that will eventually do business with you. Some of those individuals from the time that they inquire will do business with you within a couple of weeks, within 2 to 3 weeks. And some of those individuals will do business with you maybe within the next month or two. Hence why you need to be acquiring leads on a very consistent basis. Because let's just say that, for the year of 2021, you just generate 100 leads and that's all that you do. Well, your back end is going to suffer. From a sales standpoint, you're not going to be able to make as many sales because you don't have new people coming into your world as often as possible. You need to be able to have people coming into your world as often as possible because it's definitely going to affect your bottom line. The very first time I was introduced to the concept of lead generation is when I was working at the university as an executive. And the way that the university acquired their leads, they had a lot of resources from a funding standpoint. And the way that they acquire leads is that they work with a couple of different marketing companies. And the extent of their lead generation was something along the lines of, hey, are you a prospective student that is in this area that is looking to obtain an associate's degree and or a bachelor's degree, and you want to be able to do it in 12 months or less? So one of their selling proposition was that you can finish your program in a lot less time compared to, say, going to another school. Not only can you complete the program in a lot less time, we also have funding that's available. We have federal financial aid that's available. We have grants that's available, and we also have scholarships that's available. So what would happen is that a prospective student would be browsing on the web, and they would see an ad, whether it be on Yahoo or some other platform, and that ad would say something along the lines of, complete your program in the next 12 months. And then a student, the prospective student, that would gauge them, and that would be something of interest to them, and they would click on that ad and they would provide their contact information, name, phone number, and email address. And once they provide that information, they were providing that information because that is the way that they can go ahead and request more information. The ad itself was kind of vague in that it was just saying, hey, we have 20, 30, 50 programs to choose from. Just complete this information and we can go ahead and give you more information. The student completes the information, then that information gets dumped into a database, and that database is a database that the university has access to, and the university had representatives that can reach out to those prospective students. In order for the type of university that I work for, in order for them to thrive, they had to generate, probably thousands and thousands of those leads on a very consistent basis. The good news is that some of those leads became students, very, very quickly. And the not so good news is that some of those leads probably never became students. But in any case, you cannot stop that activity because that activity is an activity that fuels your business. And that is how, that was the first time I was introduced to the concept. And that was the first time I understood, okay, what does lead mean? What does lead generation mean? And why does a business need lead generation? So that is how the university did it. I don't necessarily do lead generation that exact same way. And the reason why is because for smaller companies like ourselves who don't have, these huge funding opportunities, we want to look at lead generation completely different. And the way that we want to look at lead generation is we want to think about the prospective client, and we just want to think about the path and or the problems that that person is trying to solve. The people who is the right fit for you and your business, they are going along their journey, and there are a series of problems that they're trying to solve. So in order for those in order for those individuals to become a lead, you want to think about, okay, what are some of the problems that these individuals are trying to solve, and what is their path? Let me give you an example from my dating site. When I ran, my dating site, one of the first ways I tried to get a new user is I tried to get them to go to my dating site directly. Although that did work, but that wasn't necessarily the most cost-effective way for me to generate a lead. So then I thought about, okay, someone who is looking for a date and someone who's looking to connect with someone on the dance floor because they don't necessarily like to dance alone, what are some of the problems that those individuals are trying to solve along their path? Well, one of the problems that they're trying to solve along that path is they don't know how to connect with someone on the dance floor. So let's just say if an individual wanted to connect with a male on the dance floor, they may not necessarily know the proper way to connect with a male on the dance floor without, being embarrassed, without any weirdness. So because I knew that that's one of the problems that my prospective user is trying to solve, I simply went out and created a guide so that I can help them to solve that problem. And when I did that, I was able to get people who were interested in solving that problem to provide me with their contact information in exchange for that resource. And when we do, for businesses like us, for coaches and for consultants, if we're not like, huge companies, like the company that I worked for, it was a huge company. But for, companies like us, we want to think about what type of tools and what type of resources can you provide to your prospective client that's going to solve a small problem, and that small problem is going to compel them to take action, and that small problem is going to compel them to kind of just take the next step. And when you're thinking about, the path, the problem that you are helping those individuals solve has to have a logical, next step. It has to have a logical next step into your overall solution. For my dating site at the time, it would not have made sense for me to provide a lead magnet or to create a resource to help people to learn how to do video marketing. If I went out into the marketplace and I created a resource, and that resource was designed to help business owners learn how to create video marketing, and then I gave them that resource and I gave them that guide, but I didn't necessarily have a video marketing company, or I didn't have my logical next step was dating, then that wouldn't necessarily make any sense. So you want to think about, how is this the logical, next step into your product, into your program, and into your services? Because when you solve that one small problem for them, they're still going to have other problems. And the way that they're going to be able to solve the other problems is by taking the next step with you. So when someone learned, when I gave someone a free resource and a free guide, so that way they can become a lead, and they can raise their hand and say, yeah, I am an individual that's looking to connect with other people on the dance floor. I'm looking to connect with a male on the dance floor. So this resource and this guide will be helpful to me, so that they provided me with their contact information. And when they provided me with their contact information, they became what I call a lead, because now I have their information, and now I know that they're interested in connecting with the male on the dance floor. Well, now that I've showed you how to connect with the male on the dance floor, the next logical step, or one of the other problems that you're going to have, is you're going to need a place in order to be able to find, males to connect with. So then the next logical step, one of the next problems that you're going to have is, okay, where do I go to be able to find the right type of people? Where do I go to be able to connect with males? Well, I have a dating site, and that dating site has other individuals that has a similar passion as you. And because they have a similar passion with you, here's a place that you can go to. And when you go to this place, you can go ahead and connect with individuals, just like you. These individuals want to dance, they're looking for a dance partner, so on and so forth. So as you can see, the problem, right, which is a small problem, but then at the same time, they're going to have, other problems as well. And when you think about, the path, there's going to be more than one problem. So when you create resources and when you create guides, you should be able to create guides, you should be able to create multiple different guides that lead to them still needing to be able to solve the bigger problem. So I'm going to use a different resource. I never really did create this resource or create this guide for my dating site. But one of the things that I could have done is I could have created a guide that's going to help people to optimize their dating profile. Hey, if you are planning on using a dating site as a way to attract the right type of individual to you, here is the best way to optimize your dating profile, because if you optimize your dating profile this way, you're going to be able to attract people who are serious, and you're also going to repel those who are about games and those who are not necessarily progressive. Are you looking to be able to have the best chance possible of attracting and being able to find the right person? At the end of the day, it's all about the way that you structure your profile, and it's all about the information that you have in your profile. I've created a free resource and a free guide, and a free resource and a free guide is going to show you how to optimize your profile so that you can attract people who are serious and repel those individuals who are about games. So, bam, now I have a resource and I have a guide. People are going to be providing me with their email address and contact information in exchange for their free resource and their free guide. Now I've showed them how to do that. So now what am I going to do next? What I'm going to do next, I'm going to say, now that you've optimized now that you know how to optimize your profile, one of the next things that you probably need to be able to do is you need to be able to go to a place so that way you can utilize this new skill. You need a site to be able to utilize this new skill. You need a site to be able to meet other people who are on this journey as well. So then the next logical step is my dating site, right? So when you think about generating leads, when you think about a lead generation framework for your coaching and or your consulting business, just think about the many problems that you're solving, the small problems that you're solving, and just think about how that fits in your overall path. When I worked at the university, a student who desires to get an associate's degree, for example, they had to take, say 20 classes, right? After they take class number one builds on class number two, so on and so forth, right? So class number one is only just one, one of the solutions within, within the overall curriculum, per se. So think about your coaching program and think about your consulting business the exact same way. Think about solving small problems, and then those small problems lead people to your solutions and the way that you serve them. You want to make sure that you're generating leads on a very consistent basis. If you don't already have a process in place for lead generation, and you don't know how, from an implementation standpoint, how you can make that happen from an implementation standpoint, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and leave a link somewhere around this video, and that link is going to simply give you the opportunity to schedule a time for us to have a conversation, and that conversation is going to simply allow me to be able to give you a roadmap that's specific to you and your business, that's going to allow you to create a plan from a lead generation standpoint, and that's going to ascend those individuals to the next step of your sales process. Leads are amazing, right? But if that's all we did was just generate leads, and we didn't necessarily connect that to the next step of our process, then we wouldn't necessarily be profitable. So lead generation leads to the sales process. That's it. This is day 28 inside of a 30-day video challenge. Pound live if you're listening live, and pound replay if you're catching this via the replay. That's it for now. I'll talk to you soon.